In the brutal world of boxing, few stories are as chilling and electrifying as that of Naoya Inoue, the Japanese prodigy known globally as the Monster. Not every fighter understands the depth of punishment awaiting those who mock greatness, but several cocky giants walked into the ring with Inoue, underestimating his power only to be humbled in the most violent fashion imaginable. These overconfident giants, men who saw themselves as unbeatable, scoffed at the idea of Inoue being a threat. Some of them even joked about not knowing how to pronounce his name. "I don't even know how to say his first name. I just call him Inoue," one brash fighter claimed moments before learning a lesson he'd never forget. But for the Monster, revenge isn't loud. It's silent, surgical, and vicious. And in this case, it was inevitable. Back in 2018, Jamie McDonnell, a proud fighter from England, stepped into the ring with Inoue while riding high on a 21-fight winning streak. McDonnell held the WBA belt and believed his size and reach advantage, along with his undefeated momentum, would be too much for a fighter moving up from super flyweight. He made light of Inoue's name and heritage, playing off his lack of familiarity as arrogance. But ignorance in the squared circle has its price, and McDonnell was about to pay dearly. From the opening bell, McDonnell attempted to use his 6-foot frame to bully the smaller Japanese fighter, extending his long jab and trying to keep Inoue at bay. But the Monster wasn't rattled. He studied his taller opponent like a chess master analyzing the board. Within the first round, Inoue's devastating left hook turned McDonnell's confidence into visible panic. A barrage of punches to the head and body folded the Brit's will to fight, and he crashed to the canvas. Though McDonnell had mocked Inoue's name, he now remembered it clearly, engraved in his consciousness with every painful blow. The bout ended swiftly. The referee had no choice but to step in. McDonnell's reign and his winning streak were both annihilated before the round could conclude. Just months earlier, in December 2017, Inoue had introduced his violent artistry to Yohan Boyot, a French fighter with more than 40 wins under his belt. Boyot, much like McDonnell, underestimated the young Japanese destroyer. As the bell rang, Inoue went to work immediately. A vicious left hook detonated on Boyot's jaw, sending shockwaves through his body. The Frenchman hit the mat hard, and while he got up, he looked like a man lost in a maze. When the round resumed, Inoue intensified his assault. A brutal left to the body, executed with surgical precision, buckled Boyot's knees. His liver seemed to implode under the pressure. It was no longer a boxing match. It was a calculated execution. Boyot was down again, this time from a body shot that took away his soul. He was folded like origami, completely unable to respond. Inoue had once again proven that mocking the Monster only invites agony. Then came Marlon Tapales, a seasoned Filipino warrior who held 2 of the junior featherweight titles. This fight was for all the belts, the undisputed championship. At first, Tapales looked sharp and composed, perhaps hoping his technical ability and toughness would bring him an edge. His footwork was crisp, and he landed some counters, believing he could derail the Monster's momentum. But Inoue, calm, cold, and calculating, was downloading information. Every feint, every jab, and every miss from Tapales was logged and prepared for a future onslaught. Inoue's stoic demeanor masked the brewing storm behind his gloves. By the middle rounds, he unleashed that storm. A sharp left followed by a thunderous right sent Tapales tumbling. Though he beat the count, his balance and confidence were clearly shaken. The bout transformed into a one-sided massacre. Tapales, once filled with belief, was now overwhelmed. Inoue's punches came from all angles, upstairs, downstairs, over the top, and through the guard. Tapales' high guard began to betray him. In round 10, a sizzling right cross drilled through his defense, sending him into a daze. Tapales dropped to his knees, his eyes vacant, his spirit broken. He would not beat the count. Inoue had conquered another overconfident opponent and become the undisputed king of the division. In September 2024, another cocky challenger stepped forward, determined to write his name in the history books by beating Inoue. But this story would not be one of glory. it would be a cautionary tale. The challenger, whose name is now better remembered in emergency rooms than highlight reels, began the bout with his hands low and his chin high. He smiled arrogantly, danced, and showboated. For the first few moments, he even looked competitive. That was until Inoue targeted his midsection like a butcher dissecting meat. A thunderous combination to the body in the 6th round made the challenger wince and twist unnaturally. His back arched and he held his ribs like an elderly woman grabbing her purse in a windstorm. As round 7 began, Inoue went back to the body. This time, the pain was unbearable. The challenger hopped away, grasping his lower back. Mike Tyson once said, "I broke my back, spinal." And in this case, it wasn't just metaphorical. Inoue's body punches forced a surrender unlike anything seen before. The bout was stopped, and the beaten fighter left the ring needing more than just medical attention. He needed a new spine. Then came the most humiliating loss of all. On January 24, 2025, South Korea's Ya-Jun Kim entered the ring against Inoue, thinking bravery alone could carry him through. Kim, in a display of either madness or deep denial, decided to go full kamikaze from the opening bell. He charged at Inoue like a bull, hoping to catch lightning in a bottle. Instead, he ran face first into a hurricane. From Inoue's entrance to the opening moments, it was clear this was going to be an execution. Inoue blasted Kim with a straight right to the body that sounded like a shotgun going off. It bent Kim over and took the air right out of his lungs. Moments later, Inoue landed a crushing counter shot that turned Kim's legs to jelly. Shockingly, Kim taunted Inoue. He beckoned the monster forward, waving him in with outstretched arms. It was the equivalent of standing in front of a tank and daring it to roll over you. Inoue obliged. What followed was a violent barrage that froze time in the arena. Punches landed with such force that the crowd fell into stunned silence. Kim hit the mat like a man whose body had simply given up on existence. The referee could have counted to 100. Kim wasn't getting up. His audacity, his taunts, his ego, all of it lay shattered on the canvas. It was not just a knockout. It was karma delivered in its rawest form. Naoya Inoue doesn't scream for attention. He doesn't play the clown. He doesn't engage in theatrical trash talk. But for those who mock his name or doubt his greatness, he speaks a language far more fluent than words, pain. The monster doesn't forget. He watches. He waits. And when the bell rings, he lets his fists do the talking. For those who step into the ring without respecting the storm they're about to face, Naoya Inoue delivers the kind of lesson that lives in nightmares. So, if you've ever doubted the monster, if you've ever laughed at his name or questioned his power, consider this your warning. Inoue is not just a boxer, he's a reckoning, and when he comes for revenge, it's not loud or dramatic. It's sudden, it's final, and it hurts. For more devastating breakdowns of arrogant fighters getting humbled, stick around. There are many more tales of karma coming, and the monster is far from done writing his legend.